right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Beautiful looking Thursday morning. Thank you for tuning in. There are so many. We have started this new thing where we talk about what day it is. It's National Wait Staff Day. It's National American Red Cross Founders Day. National Memo Day, which is interesting. We had a fun thing with that. World Meteorology Day. So thank you, Weatherman. National Strawberries and Cream Day. And just found out it's also EMS Week. Brittney Marthaller is here. She's the communications manager at Ocala Health, and she has brought a couple of guests to us today. The guests are Donna, Nayduch, and you've been with us before, Donna, so thank you for coming back in. Donna is not only a registered nurse and a bunch of other initials after her name, but she's the trauma program director at Ocala Health. And Peter Kaminski is in the studio. Are you an EMT-P? What does the P stand for?
A paramedic.
Paramedic, okay. And you are also the EMS coordinator at Ocala Health. So good morning to all three of you. Thank you for coming in. Let me turn on your microphones. I might be able to hear you. I know. Every week I do that, right? Every day I do that. Well, thank you all
and
for...
Brittney.
Did I not say Brittney? Good morning, Brittney. Okay. Good to see everybody. So, Brittney, how are things at Ocala Health? First of all, we'll start with you.
Wonderful. Things are going wonderful.
Where's your microphone? Which is your microphone?
No.
1, 2,
Do you
3.
want me to
1, 2,
switch?
3, 4. I think it's your 4. Okay, now try it. Try it.
Wonderful.
There you go. now I hear you. Donna, let's start with you. You are going to talk about injury prevention, is that right?
Absolutely. It's Trauma Awareness Month, so May is one of our periods of time to make sure we really point out what it is you can do at home or wherever you are to be safe on the road, safe at home, etc. This year, what we're focusing on is distracted driving, since that's become quite the issue across the whole country.
Yeah.
And some states have laws now, where you cannot use your cell phone at all, must be completely hands-free or not at all on the cell phone. Certainly not texting while you're on the phone while you're in the car. And so we're really just trying to remind everyone that distracted driving is pretty well just about anything in the car. Me stopping and drinking this bottle of water while I'm driving, stopping to undo the lid while I'm driving. That's 2 hands off the wheel while I'm messing with my water bottle.
Are you good with the knee on the steering wheel?
No, actually, I make sure I never do that when I have seen it done many, many times. And some with very good skills.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
But it's those little things that things happen in that brief instant, and that instant is at the same time I'm trying to open my water bottle. That's a bad idea.
Right.
And eating in the car, any of those things are distracting. The biggest distractor, of course, is our cell phone, since we can't seem to leave that at home and let go of it anymore. We're always on that cell phone, and it is actually okay to not answer it and do not text while you're on it until you get where you're going. Probably nothing that life-threatening that's going to happen except the wreck you're going to have because you're on that cell phone.
Absolutely it's a scary thing.
Yes, it is.
And people who otherwise are, just leading their lives doing nothing wrong, but here you go, you're down the road and you're either the victim of somebody who's doing that, or you are your own victim. You cause your own self some injuries.
Exactly. So. And you hope that if that happens, it's not someone else that you're also involving with.
You said something before we went on the air about the 100 yards. Say that again if you would.
When you're on the phone, if someone sends you a text and you actually pick up the phone to respond to it, or even just glance at it to read it, it takes your eyes off the road for 4.5 seconds. That 4.5 seconds is equivalent to me putting a blindfold around your eyes, telling you to hit the gas, and driving from one length of the football field, from one end to the other. That entire length of a football field is about 4.5 seconds worth of blinded driving.
Isn't that amazing?
That's a pretty far distance if you think about how far you've gone now through an intersection into the pedestrian you didn't see crossing the street, the car that was turning at the light that you missed because your eyes are down on that phone instead of up on the road where they need to be.
Our last guest, just before you came on, is paralyzed from the waist down, it sounded like.
Yes.
Because he was on a bicycle and was hit head on by a lady who fell asleep at the wheel.
And there you go. That's distracted driving as well.
That is distracted. That's real distracted.
Distracted, drinking, and drowsiness are the 3 big events that occur in a car that we can control and prevent, and that's exactly what happens. It's not always yourself that's going to be the one that's injured. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I don't care," and well, it's not you; it's the person you hit, and you can have a devastating effect on that other life. And I don't ever want that responsibility.
Did you ever see that horrible commercial, very eye-opening commercial, where there's a lady at a red light, there's a guy behind her, and he's texting, and he looks up at the last second and steps on his brake, and then he rear ends her, but she's fine. but the guy who was crossing the street in front of her is dead.
Because she moved forward because she couldn't
He
stop the
pushed
car
her
from
forward.
moving forward.
Right. So
That's exactly it.
And Peter, how do you feel when you come across something like that in the field? You're called to go to an accident scene, and then you see something that happened, and you know in your heart that it was because of negligence.
Well, and I was going to say, I listened to your last caller on the way in, and I've seen that so many times before, not only the worst of it with people getting hit that were completely innocent, but I've also seen people driving into the sides of houses
Oh.
wow.
because they take their eyes off the road for just a moment, and they end up in somebody's front living room. It's just
It's kind of like a surprise
devastating.
visitor.
Right. It's devastating when you have somebody that's just trying to do the right thing. So as Donna said, it affects not only themselves, but it could affect so many other people.
So Peter, you're on the ambulances actually?
Actually, not currently, but I've been in the field for 25 years.
Wow.
In the last couple of years, I've been administrative at Ocala Health.
So is it fair to say, and if you don't mind, we picking your brain a little bit, were you in the field before all this texting stuff started? Do you see more now because of that?
Well, I was in the field both prior to texting and during the texting phase, but it's always been something. Before texting, it was cell phones. Before cell phones, it was one person that ended up in somebody else's garage, dropped his lottery ticket. And as he was driving down the road
Gotta
at
pick that up.
45 miles an hour, he physically bent over all the way to the floor while holding onto the steering wheel
And still driving
Man.
forward.
to
Oh
pick
my
up his
gosh.
lottery ticket
Wow.
and ended up crashing into somebody's house.
I had a patient do that to pick up his cigarette. Not lit or anything. It's not like he thought anything would, suddenly start on fire.
Yeah.
But bent over to pick up the cigarette, drove his car under a dump truck. Not usually a good idea.
Why do people, do you suppose, have that Superman kind of mentality that nothing will happen to them or to anybody else?
I don't know that it's a Superman mentality as much as they just don't realize.
Stupid man mentality.
It's just not thinking. Exactly. It's just really not thinking. It's not that I think I'm invincible. It's that you don't stop to think that 4.5 seconds of not looking at the road
Right.
is actually could end up in this kind of crash or this kind of injury. You actually just think, oh, I'm just going to pick up that, and the next thing you know, you're not looking
Remember
where the
that
car is going.
Young child in a school bus that died from a semi driver who was texting
Yeah.
or calling. Remember
Yes.
that story just a few years
Yes.
ago?
back.
Yeah, right here in Marion County.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, Ocala Magazine did a piece on that, right?
Yeah.
I think-
Mr. Banner did a good piece.
I think they did an interview with the mom or something of that one. So, are you here today to give us ideas on how we can avoid this? And
Absolutely. Some of the most simple things are get some sleep, get some rest. When you haven't been sleeping, and really the statistics go down to if you even sleep 6 to 7 hours a night, you're already at a higher risk, twice the risk for having a crash, for being drowsy. Drowsy doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to fall asleep at the stoplight or while I'm driving. It just means that your lack of attention is there. The reflexes are less
Oh, yeah.
because you're not as equipped. If you sleep even less than that, you have a higher 4 to 5 time risk of actually having a crash on the way home, so you can go home to get to bed. So get the sleep, get the rest, take the time to take care of yourself. And if you can't, stop and get that whole 8 hours of sleep, then get the nap that you need, so you kind of at least beef yourself up a little bit and revamp before you're suddenly in the car driving. Get someone else to drive you home. Just take care of yourself. It's like drinking and driving. There's no reason to drink and get behind the wheel of the car.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You want to drink to that degree. I can't be the one to tell you you're not allowed to. That's a choice you make, but you do make the decision to get behind the wheel of the car, and you can always make the decision to not do that. And there's usually even cab companies and all who will help you get home. I don't have the money to get home. I'd give you the money to make sure you got home, just so that you're not the one that's drinking and driving in the car. And if you please put that phone down, let it ring. The messages are going to be there, not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
And even if it is something really important or something happens and you need to answer it, there are side roads, there's pull-offs, parking
Right,
spaces.
right.
Just pull off the road for the 1 second it's going to take you to stop, open it, go, oh, great, mom is safe at home now. Put the phone back down. Or your daughter's finally home and
Right,
safe.
right.
Yes, you want to know that information, but don't know it while you're driving. You can wait.
Brittney, you know what occurs to me is that what you all do at the hospitals is take care of people who've been injured and who are sick. Okay. The people who are sick, there's not a whole lot you can do. We're going to get sick. Illness happens. Everything we've been talking about is preventable today. Everything.
Absolutely.
That's
That's why we don't use the accident word.
Oh,
Because
really?
they're really not
Oh, you don't use that
accidents.
word?
There's no longer MVAs. Those are motor vehicle accidents. Now they're MVCs.
Motor vehicle
crashes.
Someone made a decision that ended up with not an accident. It's not an act of God. When a tornado drops on your house, that's an act of God. I can buy that.
Right,
most
right,
people
right.
don't plan on a tornado happening. But you do make the decision to speed, to not wear your seatbelt, to not look where you're going, to
Right,
pick up that
right,
lottery ticket.
right.
To have been drinking and driving. Those are decisions, and you need to be responsible for the privilege to drive.
Yeah.
It's not a right, it's a privilege that's given to us. And so you need to honor that.
Yeah, good stuff. Can we take a little break and we'll be right back? Donna Nayduch is here, Peter Kaminski is here, and Brittney Marthaller is here. We're talking about our health, specifically the very, very preventable accidents that we cause to ourselves and innocent bystanders simply by distracting ourselves with our devices and our stupidity. So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back with more. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A mix of sun and clouds today. A thunderstorm in the area this afternoon and this evening. The high today 90 to 94. But partly cloudy overnight with a low of 68 and a few inland spots 74 along the coast. Tomorrow partly sunny with a shower and thunderstorm in the area during the afternoon and evening hours. High 86 at the coast, 93 inland. For Saturday, clouds and sun with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and that means budget cuts and number crunching. Now's the time of the year you're evaluating your expenses, planning your budget, and finding ways to save money and increase efficiency to maximize profits. Dex Imaging understands and delivers. Call Dex Imaging today for a free document management evaluation. Cutting your office expenses is as easy as calling Dex Imaging. 352-266-0333. Start saving money today and increase your bottom line with Dex Imaging. Printers, copiers, and fax machines that increase office productivity and save you money. No one understands your bottom line better. Call Dex Imaging today, 352-266-0333. Or check them out on the web at deximaging.com. That's DEXimaging.com. Or call 352-266-0333 for your free document management evaluation today.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking, will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. The one thing that occurs to me as we're talking about this off the air is that I am not innocent of this. I have done this, and I'm just so far, knock on granite, lucky. And I have to hear this again. Just like Brittney was saying, is that sometimes when you are aware of some of the things you were taught in driving school, and then you're reminded of them. What is it, the rule? 2 seconds? You stay 2 seconds behind the car?
3.
3 seconds behind the car in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that on 200. It's kind of hard.
can.
200.
You can,
You get 3
yes.
seconds behind somebody gets in front of you. Hey, now I got to back up again. All right.
And you had brought up earlier, Donna, throughout the break about an incident about a mother and her child.
We talk about the things that distract us, and any mom, any dad driving the car is worried about the child who's safely, hopefully, buckled up in their car seat in the back or in their booster seat in the back. But it's also really easy to turn to speak to the child, or the child screams about something and you turn to look, and it's automatic. You're a parent, it's what you do. But now your eyes are off the road. And I did have an incident where a child screamed because there was a spider in the back seat, and the mother turned to try and hit the spider and was immediately off the road, and the mother died in front of the child trying to help the child by turning around to help. And the most devastating scenario you can think of, is that exact event to have happened. But it's even things like that. Yes, you want to check on your child, but again, either glance quick in the mirror like you would normally for a rear view mirror kind of check, or pull the car off and say, okay, what is it you need? The child needs a diaper changed or breastfeeding. Please don't take them out of that seat while you're driving. Even though you're the passenger and you're still buckled in, now your child is not buckled in. That's a missile. They're a missile in the car if you actually have an impact. And the next thing you know, that baby is flying around the car. So leave them in the car seat where they need to be. Pull over, take care of them, get back on the road.
So many things. So you said there's a class that we could take, or is it ordered by a judge, like in an accident? How does the class?
We have at our Senior Wellness Community Center that's out by On Top of the World. You can actually go to our website, ocalahealthsystem.com, and check out when the classes are. We have classes that are done by AARP.
Okay.
That will help with safe driving, and it's actually a 2-day course, several hours both days to equip you and remind you of the things that you learned. Yes.
Right.
And it's best of intentions. You're driving for so many years, and then you go back and you think of something like the 3 seconds behind you, and how do you tell if you're 3 seconds behind the car in front of you? Well, you pick a point on the road. If that car passes and you get to that same point within those 3 seconds, you need to slow down some. So it's a great resource that we have at the Senior Wellness Community Center. So
Do you know the opening line to Hakuna Matata? Remember that thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From that's 3 seconds long.
There you go. Sing a lot in the car.
Just sing that. Just sing that. I don't even know what they say, but
I don't think anyone knows what they say, but I do know what you're talking about.
And Peter, when you're out there on a call as an EMT and a paramedic, and then you need to go to the hospital, what kind of communication is between you and the hospital? So when you get there, everything's going to be ready.
Well, here in Marion County, we have a great system. We work along with the county public communications center. We have radios that we can communicate directly with the hospital. There are protocols in place so that the paramedic knows if the patient is experiencing these type symptoms, it's considered a heart attack. They call it a STEMI alert. They communicate that to the hospital, and certain teams will show up. Likewise, as we're talking about trauma today, it's apropos to say when the patient meets certain criteria when they're injured, they call a trauma alert, and the trauma team meets them. Just by calling a trauma alert, the paramedics and EMTs automatically know where in the hospital they're going to deliver that patient. Mm-hmm. They know what room in the emergency department they're going to and what type of care the patient's going to get, what type of response they are going to encounter when they bring the patient in, which is a great partnership with our community because that allows our paramedics to prep the patients. When you get to the hospital, this is what you're going to see, this is what's going to happen. And that makes for an easier transition for the patient when they arrive at the hospital. They know what to expect.
And time is everything. When we had this whole political mess about the trauma center at all, remember, I'm sure you're more familiar with that.
Well.
Okay, so the argument was, we just need to be as close as possible to a trauma center, which is why we have one, right?
Exactly.
So it does make a difference. I mean, a few minutes could be the difference between life and death, right?
And it has been. We've had many, many patients who would never have been able to make another 40-minute drive all the way up to one of the other trauma centers or anywhere to any of the other trauma centers. They absolutely would not have survived. And by being able to be there within minutes instead, we can actually start acting on where the injuries are for that patient, get them into surgery, and actually save their lives.
We have a phone call. If you put the headsets on, you'll be able to hear the caller, so I'll give you a chance to do that. And tell me if you can hear me.
Yep.
In your headsets? Okay, good. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Hey, I like the conversation you got going there, and I got a daughter. I'm teaching to drive right now. She's got her learner's permit, and you know what? If I remember right, when I was in school in driver's ed, I think we were taught to keep one car length for every 10 miles an hour that you're going.
That's correct.
And if that is correct, if that still holds true, what I'm teaching my daughter, and this is my rule, I don't care how fast everybody else is going. If the flow of traffic is moving 35 miles an hour, I keep 10 car lengths in between me and the car in front of me. But
I wish everybody did, yeah.
The problem with people on the highway is you'll get a bigger vehicle like a box truck or a van in front of you, and they're only following one. There's to be 3 cars in a row, and they're only following 1 car length behind at 40 miles an hour. So when that box van has to hit his brakes hard, you really need that 10 car lengths to stop in a reasonable amount of time, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
That's a really good point. You don't know, right, what's happening in the car in front of you, right?
Yes, sir, and I applaud you. This is Peter. I taught my children similar when they were learning how to drive about keeping that extra cushion of space between you and the car in front of you, because your reaction time can make a huge difference, and you want that extra time to react.
What is the rule at a stoplight? Maybe you would know this. You're at a stoplight and you see somebody and you know they're going to hit you. Do you let off of the brake or do you hold on to the brake tight? What is that rule to protect yourself?
Well, there's really not a rule per se, but in truth, if you let off the brake, the car is going to let some of that velocity dissipate. If you stay hard on the brake, every bit of that kinetic energy is going to go through you and your vehicle.
I know, I always think that, but usually when you're stopped, you're at an intersection.
Exactly.
So now you're in the line of somebody else.
Exactly, or try to turn that wheel. I tap the brakes a lot. When I see someone coming at me that looks like they're not going to stop, I start tapping my brakes like, hello, maybe the flashing lights will catch your attention, get you to stop better, or to swerve to the side and not hit me, or maybe only clip the corner of me. Because if you can pull yourself to the side a little bit, you're not going to take that full impact.
Listen, we got a story to tell you. We were on 200 by the interstate, right? There was a guy coming down on the sidewalk in a wheelchair, had no legs. Now he made a stupid move, and he decided to cross 200 over by the what's over there?
Steak and Shake.
KFC, Steak and Shake, right there.
Yeah,
so he's crossing the road now. It was a stupid move on his part because our traffic was getting ready to go.
And the light says don't walk.
But still, he's a pedestrian. He's in the road. Everybody stopped.
And in the crosswalk, he has the right of way.
Right, and everybody stopped just waiting for him, except for the guy to my left. He starts going forward, and he's going to hit him. Right?
Yeah.
There was no way he would miss him.
Yeah,
so I'm beeping on my horn.
That's what I would have done.
And he must have looked up. I don't know. He or she, I have no idea who was in the car, and steps on the brake just in the nick of time without hitting this guy.
Yeah.
Can you believe
scary.
that person was distracted by something?
Yep. Not looking, or just assumed that obviously no one's in the crosswalk because the light said not to cross. We can't assume that even the pedestrian is not distracted.
Do you know, it's been a long time since I would drive the beaches of Daytona, but I was always distracted. I'm looking at Peter because he knows what I mean.
Okay, no comment on that. But as you bring up the story of the pedestrian, distracted drivers, and the pedestrian, all I could think of was over the last, I think, 3 to 4 months in Marion County, we've actually had multiple ambulances hit.
Oh, my goodness.
While they were transporting patients to the hospital. They had their emergency lights activated. They had their sirens going. They're proceeding through intersections with due caution. And they've been hit.
Isn't that crazy?
In some
Multiple
cases,
times.
hard enough to tip the ambulance over.
Oh my God.
Flipped.
Oh my God,
And they're
people are-
transporting a patient, and the crew is also in the ambulance trying to treat the patient. So
Yes.
they too then become injured in the process. In fact, there was that wreck. We got the patients and the medics off of that wreck because we got the car that hit the ambulance, and we got the crew out of the ambulance.
my
Besides
goodness.
the ambulance crews that now had to come and take care of their own people, as well as
Donna.
the additional car crash.
Donna and Nayduch, thank you. We're out of time. I didn't mean to interrupt. Peter Kaminski, thank you. And of course, Brittney Marthaller, thank you.
Thank you.
Real quickly, give a phone number, especially for the nurse request. What's it called?
Yes,
Consultant nurse
we have
hotline.
a phone number that you can call to get a physician referral or more healthcare information. The number is 800-530-1188, or please visit our website, ocalahealthsystem.com.
Okay. Brittney, Peter, and Donna, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you
If
so
I can
much.
make one final comment during National EMS Week, I want to remember to thank all of the paramedics and EMTs in Marion County and the surrounding counties.
There you go.
You all do an incredible job day after day, and you don't receive enough thanks, and we truly appreciate all of you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
true. And you do too. You guys do too. All right, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Buried under receipts and confusing tax code? Let Crippen & Company help. They work hard to make the tax preparation process as painless as possible with offices